Have you been stuck in between four walls for the past 2 months, saying to yourself, today's the day I get shit done, and just attempting to be productive only to have it fail all too many times? If you've ever felt this and wondered how you could get back on track, don't worry, I got you. In today's video, I want to share 5 tips which I use to help me stay focused and study for 12 hours in a day in preparation for my med school exams. So let's start off with tip number 1, get rid of your phone. No, I'm just kidding, don't do that, let's actually roll the video. So tip number 1, having a single target of focus. When it comes to revising or really just working, sometimes you might feel overwhelmed with the number of tasks you have to do or the number of topics that you want to try and cover. Calm down and take a deep breath. When you're trying to get some work done, just pick one single task and focus on that. Something that could help you narrow your to-do list every day is if you try and organize everything that you want to try and cover and make a schedule for that. Some people like scheduling every single hour in their day, and I did that in my most recent video showing my 12-hour study routine in preparation for my finals. But there are some days where I feel like that can be a little bit too restricted. So instead, on certain days, I might just say, oh, I want to work on 3 tasks today. So I want to work on cardiology, infection and disease, and gastroenterology. And those are the 3 things which I would just focus on that day. The reason that it's important to have one single target of focus is to help you minimize distractions and keep all your energy directed towards one thing. By prioritizing just one task, it makes it easier to get into the zone and sort of enter a flow state where you can just work. Sticking with the notion of staying focused, let's move on to tip number 2, keeping only the essentials on your desk. When it comes to working or studying, you're probably going to be spending the majority, if not all your time at your desk. How well do you think you'd be able to focus if the place that you're sitting at for most of your time is always cluttered? So keep your desk tidy. A clear desk doesn't mean that you're suddenly going to get some sort of crazy productivity boost, but it does help to keep your mind clear. So on my desk, I have my trusty iMac and my laptop for that sort of dual monitor setup, and I feel like I prefer working like that because it just makes me feel like I'm doing a little bit more. And then besides that, I have my notebook, a couple of pens, and the lamp, and that's pretty much it. I like to keep my textbooks nearby as well, but besides that, what more do you need on your desk? If you're like me, during stressful times, you might find it hard to find that balance between working and relaxing.
That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter.
That brings me to my 3rd tip, the 8-8-8 rule. Basically, this rule focuses on dedicating 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours to work or study, and 8 hours doing everything else, whether that be eating, cooking, cleaning, and relaxing. I think this is a good starting point for anyone to help structure their day, especially if you're finding it hard to sort of find that balance as well. I want to emphasize, if you're working hard, that's great, but don't forget to give yourself a break or a treat from time to time. You're not some sort of robot or machine that can just keep going. Heck, even robots need electricity or oil or something. So from time to time, it's important to have these necessary breaks so that you can kind of reboot and recharge. Ooh. When you're going through your revision period, you're likely going to have ups and downs. So it's important that you have a good mindset to deal with this. So that brings me to my 4th tip, the Locus rule. And Locus by Locus, I don't mean the sort of bug that like eats crops and like starts the end of the world. I mean Locus, which is spelled like this. The Locus rule is based on a theory known as the locus of control, which essentially refers to the degree that an individual believes that they have control over the outcome of their life. A person's locus can be either internal or external. If it's external, then they believe that their life is controlled by factors which they can't control. For example, if an individual had a strong external locus and they had a bad day where they couldn't really get much work done, then they would likely blame things like other people or the weather or just something else for that bad day.
It's not my fault. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
On the flip side, if it's internal, then an individual believes that they have control over their own life. For example, if an individual had a strong internal locus and they had that same bad day where they couldn't get much work done, instead of blaming others, they would likely reflect on themselves and maybe say things like, oh, maybe I didn't really organize my time as well today. Or maybe I didn't really do a good job at removing distractions.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses.
Ultimately, if you have the mindset that you are in control, then you'll be able to pick yourself back up on those bad days, and you'll be able to be accountable and move towards a direction of self-growth. So the fifth and final tip kind of links with the last one, but I'm gonna call this the 10-second rule. So the other day, as I was procrastinating, I was scrolling through Instagram and I found this tweet by Marquise Goodwin, a wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And Goodwin is gone! A 49er touchdown!
And it said, if you had $86,400 in your bank account and someone stole $10 from you, would you get upset and throw the remaining amount of $86,390 away? No. See, we have 86,400 seconds each day. Don't let a negative 10 seconds ruin your entire day. The situation of having one bad moment ruining the rest of your productive day is all too familiar. And I think it's important to be able to not let this negative 10 seconds that might come up in your day ruin the rest of your 24 hours. It's important to discipline your mind in that way, because you don't want to be throwing away days of good work just because someone said something that you didn't like, or just because you had a small argument with your friend. So those are the 5 tips which help me stay focused for my 12-hour study days. I hope you guys found that useful, and let me know in the comments which ones you would try out. But anyways, that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.